Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here, an astrologer eking out a living on the Kona coast of the Big Island. Lucky we live Hawaii. We're going to get into the first week of July 2014 in the sky mirror and see what's coming up for you. Take a particular look, I guess, at your 4th of July. Pretty active time. Wow. Hey, there's Mercury going direct on July 2nd. July 2nd, Mercury stops in the sky and goes forward. You won't have to keep doing things twice. In fact, for a while you do things that'll have amazing stability because Mercury's not going back there for a while. Think of him like the mailman, huh? So anything you want to do that's real permanent and send off once with the mailman, you wait till July 2nd. After that, every day is strong for, a good week. Anyway, Mercury, here we're talking about the 4th of July, and here on the 2nd of July, Mercury stops. Mercury's kids, you know. Yes. Hermes with the wings on his helmet and the wings on his feet. There he is. You know, and I was just noticing that I always go to the ephemeris first. My old ephemeris. Here on the 4th of July, Friday, moon's in Libra. And at midnight, or at 2 a.m. in the morning here, it's at 13.5 Libra, which is a trine over here to Venus. 13, 14 Gemini. So the pretty girls are out, and these are Gemini. They're all dressed up in Gemini clothes, very young. Young gals, you know, school girls. Mars is happy, and Mercury, most of all, there's a little D. Mercury is so strong. Friday, the moon in Libra for the 4th of July. Wow, let's check the sky mirror. See how it looks. I've drawn up the pattern of planets for you. Still got kind of a grand cross here, you know, and Mars is still opposing Uranus, and the trouble is that, you just had a turbulent month, or a turbulent week, and you're halfway through the turbulent time because the sun sets off this whole thing from 12 to 16 to 20 degrees of the cardinal signs, and that's exactly where it's going now, 12, 16, 20. So you're starting tomorrow with the sun opposing Pluto. Don't tell me what to do. Territoriality, power, control. Pluto, Pele, police, volcanoes. And then a square to Mars. Oh, next the Uranus thing, the media not behaving well. And nobody's listening to environmentalists and rationality. There's a lack of common sense and rationality here. At 16 degrees. And then at 20 we all get angry. Ask yourself what you're protecting towards the end of your next week. Now, that's the pattern of the sun, yeah? And the men particularly kind of follow it. What we do every week with the sky mirror is we follow the moon around here. It goes all the way around in a month. And it kind of, as it makes angles to different planetary bodies, it gives us the mood of the times. So here's the moon moving through there, and here's your Friday, July 4th. Moon goes into Libra right away. These little lines here are 2 a.m. for Hawaii, so here midnight, moon's in Libra. As soon as it does, you start to feel some of the sweets and some of the tension too. It kind of a mixed bag. Here's problems with Pluto. This looks like around 9, 10 o'clock Friday night in Hawaii. The square to Pluto comes up first at 12 degrees. Venus is hanging in there at 13, so, just after that there'll be pretty girls talking the police out of their policing actions or something. and maybe that's just the smell of sulfur. That square to Pluto. Pluto is the sulfur smell, like H2S, rotten eggs. And anyway, the feeling of aloneness comes up 3-4 in the morning, Saturday morning, with the opposition to Uranus at 16 degrees. And you know, that's when electrical things and batteries go bad, and you find yourself all alone. Eek! Well, Pluto is eek, a bug. Opposition to Uranus is eek, I'm different, I'm all alone. Finally, the Mars thing comes on here at 20 degrees. And that's right here Saturday on dinner time. Afternoon and evening, the moon goes by Mars. You'd see it up in the sky around 11, 12 o'clock. It'd probably quite a sight. Watch the setting sun over here where the sun sets. And there would be the red planet with the moon next to it. And sometimes you get a lot of energy from a moon Mars. Sometimes you get ticked off. Mars is a little frustrated, but he's a hero. He's the fireman. He's the EMT. You can count on him. Mercury's happy. The kids are happy still. And there's a north node. So the Mars guys are really giving us a lot of nurturing Saturday. Late Saturday night, here's midnight, almost 2 a.m. Sunday morning, the moon hits square to Jupiter, and we kind of overdo it all. Stayed up too late Saturday night, didn't you? Sunday morning, the moon's still in Libra. It's not bad. You can still feel the good and the bad. and the energy of that. Whoosh. Venus is and Mercury, though, see, they're in blue. And they're the ones that are having fun. It's the young girls and the young kids. Leave them alone. You don't have to be all macho and protective, territorial. And you know, what's that? Venus is beautiful stuff in the sky. Mercury, beautiful birds like. So hope this is not a, this is, the way to enjoy it's watch the big shows. Okay, Sunday in the afternoon, the moon's gone into Scorpio. The vibes change. There's a nice trine to Neptune here Sunday night. Good time for religious, artistic stuff. Good time to read Jesus. Let's see, we had our 6-degree Cancer new moon, so Neptune is a beautiful thing right now. And so Sunday night, reserve for your higher heart. Open up something with compassion. Hang out with some animals. Can't do anything more. Here's a trine to Pluto. Yeah, sextile to Pluto. Monday morning, discoveries happening. Here's a nice trine to the Sun. The afternoon of Monday, we got all our plans together in a conjunction to Saturn. As you leave work Monday and in the evening, here's the moon going by Saturn. Quite a dim planet compared to 3 days before with Mars, but Saturn will get you organized. It's trining the Sun here, sextiling Pluto. Doesn't give a hoot. There's a weird 150-degree angle to Uranus, the environment, the homeless. Here in Honolulu, geez, they're about to make a bunch of draconian laws to keep the homeless out of Waikiki and away from the tourists. Oh boy, Saturn sacrificing Uranus, huh? Trouble is, Saturn has a sextile to Pluto, and the police are going to go help Saturn do his nasty stuff. You'll see more about that July 7th. Moon stays in Scorpio, and there's some wisdom comes out of the whole thing in the middle of Tuesday with a nice trine to Jupiter. Aha, now I see it. Now I understand. The afternoons, the moon slips into Sagittarius here. And the vibes change again. And they start off being, the later you go into Tuesday, July 8th, the more confusing they are. And the morning of Wednesday, you may have some bad smells. There's a square to Neptune. And some confusion reigns. Snap out of it a little bit late Wednesday night. There's a nice trine to Uranus. Rationality takes a hold. But unfortunately, there's an opposition to Venus late Wednesday night. 11, 12 o'clock, and there's no sweets and no goodies. And the sex is uh-oh, Here's Mars, Thursday morning, feeling randy. He's, sextiling, the moon's sextiling Mars. Maybe you got a chance there. In other words, forget it Wednesday night and go for Thursday morning. Ha 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 ha. Well, here's a opposition to Mercury on the 10th, and the kids are a little loud, and we're having a little trouble getting around and communicating. The moon goes into Capricorn around dinner time, and the whole vibe changes. It starts off kind of seductive because here's, in Friday morning, here's the sextile to Neptune, who's very strong and active right now, but the moon's opposing that new moon point, and I don't know. Nevertheless, I go for it, if you have a chance to increase your telepathic ability and your imagination and your dream state, and a whole bunch of priest, artist, doctor, musician stuff. Do it Friday morning. Early morning walk. Discovery happens as the moon goes by Pluto here, and that's Pluto's 12 degrees. The afternoon of Friday the 11th, and you're going into a full moon time here at 20 degrees of Capricorn. The full moon happens about 2 a.m. Saturday morning, so from the time the moon hits Pluto, it's kind of eek, a bug, and there's roadblocks everywhere, and the police and the bugs and the panicky feeling kicks in the middle of Friday, even before lunch for some places, and you feel all alone and a little jittery and panicky on Friday the 11th. Well, it's normal. We're all feeling that way, all of us. A little bit of settling down here about 9-10 o'clock with a sextile to Saturn if you've got your act together and you're being responsible. Still doesn't seem to do that much good because Saturday morning here's that full moon. So the accident rate doubles, folks, on full moons, and I tell you, it's going to start here Friday morning. So spend the morning spiritually, but don't go drink a bunch, because you could be surprised here Friday midday and the rest of the evening and on into Saturday morning. And finally, here's a square to Mars Saturday, July 12th, and everybody's impatient and ticked off, and ask yourself what you're protecting. The opposition to Jupiter Saturday night around dinner time, too much of everything. And finally the moon moves into Aquarius, and the whole situation changes and mellows out. But that's not till Saturday night. Sunday, July 13th, a lot of brotherhood around. It's a nice sextile to Uranus here. The square is to Saturn, and we're all aware Sunday night of what those politicians have done to all those wonderful free spirits, Uranus here. So, what are those politicians doing, making laws like that against particular people? They should be ashamed. One day they'll be homeless and get, the cops will come by and roust them in the morning. You can't sleep there. Now, this is going to be a nuts and bolts show. We're going to do more hardcore work on the dancings of Uranus and investigate further the locations of the October phenomenon. Before I get there, though, I don't want to leave this out because it's kind of important. Do you know who Isis is? Of course, that's the name of the group that's, in Syria, in Iraq is so important right now, and it's kind of blowing everybody away. Isis is the moon goddess she's the moon of the Egyptians. Now you know that most of the Muslim countries are lunar. They have the green and yellow colors. Green is the moon. The moon's on the flag. When you look at most of the flags, there's a little star here. That's Venus, by the way, at that moment of Muhammad's enlightenment. Anyway, who's Isis? Isis is an Egyptian goddess of the moon. And what happened, these are all Sunnis. and Shia. It's a religious thing there. But Isis is the wife of Osiris, the son, the father, and Osiris got trapped by demons and cut up in pieces to die, and Isis, his wife, the moon, went about gathering up all the pieces of the sun and put them back together, and he's in the sky today. So that's what Isis is doing, and the symbolism and maybe the reality of their name says so far they seem to be doing a pretty good job. They're getting a whole bunch of people together that were kind of forgotten. And I really like the symbolism. Okay, so we got some nuts and bolts work to do. Let's go switch over to the computer. Brief review, we got into this going after hurricanes, but it also applies to earthquakes and tornadoes. All sudden things that Uranus behavior, yeah, all governed by this actor, Uranus. Very special planet, an enlightenment planet of the mind. So we went after when Uranus was kind of acting up on the world stage as one of the planetary angels, you want to call them? I don't know. And last show we detailed out locations for the July phenomenon. Now that we're going to get into October here, and the important things are there's a full moon October 8th that conjuncts Uranus, and when you have a full moon right on a planet, that planet kind of behaves a little bit lunatic-like, and it out of proportion blows up in your consciousness. There's also a new moon October 23rd that shows, some panicky stuff and certain halt to some of our things, services, communication, transportation stuff, or at least trouble with them. So I got these two lunations to investigate, and let's see how it shows up location-wise. Okay, here's where I'm at on June 19th right now. And we're going to look at that full moon October 8th. That's the first one. Okay, there's the conjunction. You can see the moon. It's only half a degree off the planet Uranus. Opposing the sun, which is here with Venus. But this 14-15 degrees is some distance off the midheaven. It's half of a sign away here in the Big Island, and it's not within range of striking the rising sign. So maybe this doesn't indicate a whole sensitivity here in the islands. Let's look around the world a little bit, huh? When you look at the world map, I might take that back. Here we are in the center of it all. And over here is the south node on the top of the chart with Uranus and the moon going kind of wobbly and crazy. And then the dotted line here is Pluto. Now, on the chart, they're a little ways off, but here you can see that here's the chain of the islands, and these things are all lying to this side of it, which means we're going to go in there kind of Kauai first. Over here, this other dotted line is Mercury on the bottom of the chart. So this is uncomfortably close, is what I see. And Pluto crosses over these guys for real panicky stuff over here, out in the middle of nowhere in the Pacific. So that's good. Now let's see, this is Pluto at the top of the chart, and Uranus at the top, a public chaos, which could show up in our islands, and Mercury at the bottom, concerns for getting around, communication, transportation. Now the other place you'd be concerned about is when Uranus opposes the rising sign, and let's see, where is that? Hey, there's Uranus on the descendant, and we don't like Uranus, go away. And it's kind of running through some of the more populated areas of the East Coast here. And the white line is the sun on the rising, saying they're thinking about ourselves here and the others. These lines continue down through here. Here's Uranus going up through near Cuba. So this line is important in terms of hurricane stuff too, tropical stuff, yeah? Now another thing that happens with Uranus opposing the rising sign, when it's opposing, it's like a fear of the thing. And so like if you have an earthquake, then you're concerned there's going to be another one, and another one, and another one. So here we got the earthquake line running through South America and down through Lima. This is Uranus on the descendant. Now the dotted line, can you see that? The dotted line running up here is Pluto. Yes, on the IC on the bottom, on the home. So, you know, this looks like, you know, insecurities in your home, and I know, okay, enough said. Personally, I think this is more hurricane-like, with the full moon on Uranus on the top of the chart in the public arena. See, and so, you know, and having this, so this looks like it could be some tree limbs down, some wind damage, because this is the south node up there with it. We need help. And so this isn't so hot. No. Okay, I want to look downstream of this, the 3/4 moon, October 15th, and what's that? There's a dotted line running right through Hilo, Neptune on the IC, Neptune on the home. So there's water. That could be due to, that could be worries over tsunami due to the big quake that happens over here, huh? Okay, I look now at the October 23rd new moon, and sure enough, we got lines running through Hawaii, and here is the sun and Venus and the moon at the top of the chart. And we're on stage, it seems, there. Pluto is crossing over here. We're in emergency. We got stuff going on with the node, and here's the south node is on the home. It's on the bottom. And the IC with Uranus. There's the chaotic stuff in the home, and some problems with communication, transportation kind of stuff. That's why, and that showed up in the 6th house, I believe. Well, it wasn't in the 6th house. It was that the chart of that lunation with Mercury up at the top squaring the rising sign. Mercury rules the 6th because Gemini starts the 6th house. So these are employees, services, stuff like that. Pluto uncomfortably close to the rising sign. I take this chart over here to Honolulu, relocate it to Honolulu. What happens is Pluto hits the the rising sign, increasing the panicky feeling. And down here is Uranus at 1352, rising sign, 1 degree off. So it's a little more tight there, and Honolulu could see some action after this new moon, October 23rd. I might be stretching it, but the involvement of Mercury here tends to me to indicate wires carry things. That's what Mercury does. He carries things around. And ruling the 6th house, I figure those are the utility wires. There's my cable TV. A tree knocked it down. So this is an indicator of wind or storm stuff knocking some wires down to me. Here's another place where Uranus appears to be acting up after the October, on or about or after the October 23rd new moon. And this area here is which launched the really devastating quake that, you know, killed all these people with tsunamis over here. So there's a big fault line going through here, and Pluto's on the bottom of the chart, which indicates underneath, underground stuff, earthquakes, volcanoes, stuff like that. Another hot spot. There's another one here. This is Uranus on the midheaven, public chaos, you know, conjuncts the south node. Help us. And it's down here along this coastline of Africa. Pluto over here, where is that? Pluto is on the descendant and runs through there. That could be military stuff too, or something volcanic, I don't know. Okay, here's the first quarter moon right after that nasty October 23rd. This is October 30th. Sometimes these show the aftermath or the damage or something, and what the concern is here is Mercury. There's Mercury opposing the rising sign, and there's the south node on the rising sign. We need help. And there's Uranus up here hiding, and up on top in the midheaven, and there's Pluto at 14 squaring Uranus. So here it looks like wind damage and emergency services and problems with the kids. They can't send the kids to school, so all the kids are home or something. Communication, transportation. Mercury again ruling the third house is your roads and yards and electronic communicators and stuff. So this one also indicates a rough October, and wow, this did not come out that good for the islands, folks. I'm afraid we got an event going on here for certain, and the indicators start October 8th and run right through the end of October on the first moon. Gee. Okay, sometimes you look downstream a little bit, see if the big damage would take a while to clean up. Here's a November 6th full moon, and how's it look? Well, Venus is up at the top. Hawaii's beauty is back again. Moon's at the bottom, concerned for the home and the houses, the yard and stuff. But it doesn't look too bad here. Okay, here's a three-quarter moon, November 14th. The rising sign, I got Mercury there. You know, look, we got Pluto here, sextiling, looks like, and Jupiter and the moon up here in the 10th. It looks like we're in pretty good shape. Okay, here's a new moon, November 22nd. I'm looking for after effects. 3 degrees rising. Neptune's trining the midheaven. Looks like Hawaii is beautiful. Everything is right with the world. Okay, so if it didn't last for months and months, it can't be another Aniki or something. No question, though. We have got a problem here, and Hawaii could see some action, and as early as October 8th, but I think I circled October 25th as one of the days I'd be watching. Yeah.